Hello everybody and welcome to next tutorial where we're gonna start coding the if statements. Okay, and so this is basically the statements where our code is gonna be splitting based on certain conditions that we're gonna specify. Okay, so let's get into the Visual Studio and type our if statement. So the way it works is just type if, simply like that, and then we put this parentheses like that, and this is what the statement is gonna go in there, our condition where we're gonna evaluate. Okay, and then in here, when we open our curly brackets, this is the code that is gonna run if this condition is true. Okay, and this is what I'm actually gonna put in here, and I'm gonna say true. And the way it works, actually, if I'm gonna say here console console.writeLine, and we're just gonna put here inside, we're just gonna put it inside inside if. Okay, so this is gonna let us know that we are inside of the if statement. Okay, and so basically this is when our program is gonna start right here. And you know what, I'm just gonna put the console. You know what, I'm gonna actually do this quite often. So what I learned recently is if we in our code we type this console write line a lot, and there's actually Visual Studio did the shortcut for that, and I'm gonna teach you guys. So if you type CW and you click tab twice, it will write that out for you. Okay, so you don't have to write it. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing it quite a bit now because I've been programming with this new thing, and it's pretty cool. So you don't need to write the console.writeLine all the time. So there's a lot of there's actually a lot of this kind of tricks like that, and as I'm learning them right now, I'm gonna teach you guys as well, so we can save time on coding. And also in the end of this tutorials, I'm probably gonna do the whole video on all the shortcuts together. So if you want to learn them ahead of time, you can probably skip to that video and learn them right now. Okay, but I'm not there yet. But I can't skip to that because I'm still recording this. So basically in this inside here, and now blah blah blah, let's get to the code. I'm gonna put before if, and then underneath this I'm gonna do I'm gonna say after if. So this is gonna help us to figure it out when we printing this out, basically how this whole thing follows through. Okay, so let's run and then see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna press start, and in here we're gonna see before if, inside if, and after if. Okay, so that's definitely printed all of it. So when it comes here, it evaluates when this code comes back to here, evaluates if this is true inside. And right now we just basically said true. The reason why you can say that is because whatever is inside of this parentheses is always gonna be a boolean. Okay, if you guys remember, boolean is it can only hold two values, true or false. So it can't be maybe, it can't be a little bit. It always have to be either yes or no, true or false. That's why boolean was kind of very important in the computer language because of this kind of situations. Okay, so whatever is always inside of if, it's always going to be either true or false. It's going to evaluate to that. Later we're going to learn other things in the next tutorials where we're going to learn what kind of things you can put here to evaluate certain things. But for now we're just going to say true or false. So if I'm going to take the true out and put false, and we're going to run this, technically it's gonna come here and gonna say false, and it should skip all of this code that's inside of this parentheses, inside of these brackets, and it will not do it. And if you see it, it says there is actually here, it says underline, it says unreachable code detected. That means no matter what you do here, this is never gonna run because it says false. Okay, so this kind of, telling us like, what are you doing? Why are you coding this line in here when it's not even gonna be in here? Well, we're just doing this for our purposes, so don't tell me what to do. Okay, so it says before if and after if. So it basically never came inside this code. It never went in there because it evaluated to false, and therefore it skipped that. Okay, so basically it would split this up and come back to the same code after. So if you would think about it, if we put, let me put a variable in here and make this a little bit more interested. So let me make a variable with bool type, and I'm gonna say it rain. Okay, and we're gonna set it equal to true right now. And you know, we can later on we're gonna do this exercise, something similar like this, when you will actually ask a user, hey, is this raining outside or it's not raining, and so you'll be able to set it to true or false. But for now we're just gonna manually code it, and inside here we're gonna put rain. Okay, and so it takes the boolean inside here and does that. Okay, and it evaluates this rain, which in this case is true, and it's gonna make this code right. Okay, so it's gonna evaluate this, come back into here, print this out. Kind of, if you think about it, if we add another one in here, statement, you would do all the statements inside this, and then it would kind of come back out of it and continue after this. Okay, so kind of comes back here again and then drops down, because if it never runs, it skips this whole thing if it's false. Okay, so I think you guys can understand this pretty well, and let me just make sure I run this after I put this code in there. And yes, it is true, because it's rainy outside, so it does go inside these brackets and does this code. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this, and in the next tutorials we will talk about what else we can put in here besides just variables that are boolean, and what we can evaluate. Okay, and I will see you in next tutorial. Thank you for watching.